And you're live.
Good evening, everybody. We can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You can have a seat. Did everybody have a chance to review last meeting's minutes?
I did. I went over it pretty thorough, and I didn't find anything that stood out too much. So I recommend that we adopt the minutes as provided for the that would be the September 18th meeting.
Okay, there's been a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Not this evening.
Okay. MPC timeline review?
All of the extensions have come in and we are all good.
Okay.
Thank you. Do we know, is docket 2336 going to come back anytime soon?
I think in the next few months they will.
Okay.
Yeah. And I will say actually that 2356 Parkland Circle has been withdrawn.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what you told us the other night. Okay.
I just wanted to state for the minutes that before we get started, the engineer representing the applicant, I review submissions in my daily work from this engineer as well. I do not see any personal conflict with that or any reason that that would affect any decisions made here tonight.
So that's for docket 2355, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, let's move into plan reviews. Docket 2355, TransEdge Truck Centers, 5344 Tillman Street, final land development plan.
All right. This project involves the demolition of the northernmost existing building and construction of a new 33,075 square foot building in its place, along with dedicated tractor trailer parking and employee parking spaces. There are 2 additional existing buildings which will remain. This plan received preliminary plan approval by the Board of Supervisors on September 5th, 2024 by Resolution 2024-37. The final plan that was submitted now that you're reviewing tonight was revised to eliminate a portion of the northwest parking area located over an underground pipeline. The applicant received 3 waivers from the Board of Supervisors and has 2 additional waiver requests from the SALDO. And the change to the parking area has not resulted in a change to the sidewalk that is proposed, so that will remain, and that'll provide the connection along Tillman Street. The Board of Supervisors deferred the sidewalks that would be installed along Oakview Drive. And that concludes my comments.
Okay. Dave, you have anything?
So just throughout my letter, all of their outside agencies are either close to approval or getting approval. They have their NPDS permit in hand now. LVPC, they have approval. PennDOT, they're going to be making a resubmission shortly, and there's only super minor comments. It's just a connection into their state right away, just an inlet out there. Other than that, overall throughout the letter is basically minor drafting, general type comments for cleanup for the plan. The 2 waivers, additional waivers are asking for. The first one is for curbing along the south side of their building. Originally, there was a sidewalk proposed along there, but so since that sidewalk got eliminated, they have the concrete pads where the emergency exits are going to be. So because of that difference in grade there, we feel the curbing wasn't really necessary. They will be putting bollards in to delineate those concrete pads, so they don't get parked in with the doors. So that will be a stoned area in lieu of a concrete sidewalk along there, which sidewalk was never required to be installed there anyway. The second waiver deals with a basin slope, but since this basin incorporates a spray function, this waiver is not needed and can be withdrawn.
Okay.
Has the applicant withdrawn that waiver yet formally?
No, we wanted to do it at the meeting tonight to get it in the minutes.
So, can you give us just a brief summary of where they are with their outside agency approvals?
Yeah, so outside agencies, they have all their outside agency approvals minus PennDOT. They have their NPDS permit, LVPC, LCA, and PennDOT, they will be resubmitting shortly, and the comments were
Minor.
really just drafting items, nothing technical in nature.
Mr. Chairman, I'd recommend that we grant waiver request number 4 concerning Saldo, section 704.9.c concerning curbing along the building.
Okay, you heard the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Tim. Any discussion on it? Any questions, comments from the audience? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed.
Okay, so do we want to deny this second waiver because it's not needed
Unless they want to withdraw.
or withdraw it?
Applicants here.
We can withdraw. If the waiver is not required, we will withdraw the waiver request.
Okay,
Okay.
duly noted that it's withdrawn.
One question we had in the planning commission workshop was, we see that the propane tank located by the driveway. Now, I don't think we can require you to put a ballard in front of there, but it seemed like it would be a smart thing to do considering you're having traffic go by a propane tank.
Yeah, I believe it's proposed to be surrounded with a fence.
Okay, some sort of barrier, so, okay. We just comment that we made,
Yeah.
Would that be sufficient? Like, I'm thinking chain link fence.
I believe that's what the code actually required.
Okay. When I saw that on Monday, I was like, the baller might be more preferable, but if that's what's in code, so be it. Just doesn't a truck is going to go through the fence.
I will say today, the tank's location is even closer to the driveway with no protection. But if a bollard is what's necessary, we'll be more than happy to put a bollard.
I'll leave it up with you to discuss with staff. What you guys end up with is fine. It just seemed to be like a common sense type thing. Question on the zoning, item number 3. EV charging stations, 2 parking spots. He's suggesting they don't get tagged in with the sum. We didn't talk about it on Monday. I just noticed it now going through the letter.
To clarify that, those parking spots are not part of the
The sum.
required parking.
Okay.
They were just identified as tractor parking spaces.
Okay. So they aren't part of the 36.
They are not a part of the required 36 parking spaces. That's correct.
Okay, any other questions? Comments? Concerns?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a recommendation for conditional final plan approval for docket number 2355, conditioned upon the comments and staff and engineers review letters.
Okay, you heard the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Chris. Any discussion? Questions, comments, concerns from the audience? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
And gals. All right. Going on to the second agenda item, Ray.
For docket 2383, I just wanted to state for the minutes that the engineer that is representing the applicant, I also have had and currently have permits in front of me in my daily work that would not be any way impacted by this either way.
Okay. All right, moving on to 2383 Chase Bank, Town, 7150 Hamilton Boulevard. Preliminary final.
This application proposes to demolish the former Yaco's Restaurant building located within the shops at Town Shopping Center and to construct a 3,370 square foot bank building with drive-through ATM service The application also proposes alterations to the existing parking, lighting, landscaping, and utilities within the proposed lease area. There's one waiver request that Dave will explain that was submitted as part of this application. The only additional comment that I have is that Lanta had reached out and requested that the applicant provide a safe pedestrian connection to the sidewalk network within the shopping center, and the staff supports that comment, though it's not a requirement, but just a request.
David?
Yeah, so the waiver request is, they asked for the dedication of parkland for a payment in lieu of. Since this is a minor land development, that section actually doesn't apply anyway, so they would recommend withdrawing that waiver as it's not needed. As far as my review, there is no increase in impervious. There's actually a decrease in impervious. So really throughout my letter, it's really just plan drafting items because, just the limited scope that we have for the minor land development. It's really kind of just getting our plans to look how, we typically have our plans for our saldo. So based on that, I don't have any major concerns with the plans. I feel they're ready for, action for you guys tonight.
May I suggest that this is their first time here, that the applicant give at least a short presentation on
Yeah, I was going to ask him to do that since it's new to us.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. My name is Bob Careless. I'm the attorney for the applicant, JP Morgan Chase Bank. This is Corey Christian Bowler, our civil engineer on the project. I don't have much to add to Meredith's introduction. We certainly have displayed here up on the screen. This is one of our rendered site plans with the landscaping. You see that we're in the vicinity of the former Yakko's restaurant, hot dog restaurant here. We do not require zoning relief. As Dave mentioned, we had submitted that waiver request more protectively with confirmation that it's not applicable. We will withdraw that as a housekeeping matter, and that won't appear on the submission to the board. We will comply otherwise with Dave's letter, and we'll comply with the fire marshal's comment about providing the key box. And with respect to, and I'll have Corey go through this, with respect to the comment from Stan, however, what we think is a sketch we can put up here. This is just later here. Let's kind of come out. As you see, Hamilton's to our north, to the existing sidewalks at the perimeter of the site. Otherwise, as mentioned, we'll comply with the other reviews, and the project, as I mentioned, doesn't require any waivers or zoning relief. So I'll let Corey add some color to what I said here.
Yeah, I mean, Dave and Bob largely covered it. Pretty simple redevelopment of the existing Yakko's pad, largely the same orientation and configuration of the drive-through that exists there today. Important to note that the drive-through, that's technically a drive-up ATM. Chase does a drive-up ATM, so there's no teller. In regards to the pedestrian connectivity, the sketch that Meredith pulled up on the screen, we thought that made the most sense to keep the connection outside of the Hamilton Boulevard right away, but it also provides connectivity not only to Hamilton Boulevard, but the sidewalk that connects to the remainder of the shopping center, along with the parking stalls to the east of our development. So we would be proposing to remove one parking space within our lease boundary to make this connection, to provide a safe access from the sidewalk to the store frontage. But in this scenario, we're proposing to add an additional space back onto the row. Our plan proposed to maintain the same number of parking spaces that exist today.
Do you know the approximate square footage of new sidewalk you're going to do with this?
Yeah, I looked at it briefly. We don't have this fully designed. It's in the range with the sidewalk and the parking space of about 500 square feet. Our plan initially on the site plan, we call out that we're a net reduction of about 1,000 square feet of impervious from what exists today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And can we, call that up a second? And then move the image so we see more to the right?
That's it.
Okay, that's the image. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions, comments,
Is
concerns?
this the only Chase within, I don't know of other Chase banks in the
I
area?
think Allentown.
Was that,
I think there's one in the city.
is there
I think
one?
that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just,
There's not many, but
okay. I just hadn't seen a lot of them in the area, so.
that's.
And so there's only a minimal canopy over the ATM, if any?
The drive up ATM.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's more just to act as a sunshade for the ATM.
And on this picture, I guess the bottom image on the left is the sunshade canopy.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you.
Oh, not only drive-in and the ATM walk-in, you do have services inside the building, correct?
Correct. Yeah. So there's another ATM in the front vestibule in addition to the drive-up ATM. But yeah,
Yep.
there are.
But I mean, I know that.
services
I'm just saying, but you'll be able to go in and talk to
inside.
people
Correct.
inside. Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like you don't have that through the drive up. You're saying a drive up ATM. It's just
Right, that's what
just
this is.
ATM, no teller. So
Correct.
it has everything inside the bank. Totally non-relevant question, but just have more out of curiosity. What is a headache bar?
So that's with the overhang and the canopy around the drive-up ATM
Yeah.
to prevent vehicles that are too large to go through the drive-through.
Okay,
causing
so it's
any
just
damage.
that part. All right.
Exactly right.
Okay.
To provide fair warning for the larger vehicles.
I saw that on the drawing. I'm like, okay, what is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
Thank you.
question.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Nope.
Anybody have a motion either way?
And this is for preliminary final.
Yes,
Yes.
for minor land.
All right, so I will make a motion that we recommend to the Board of Supervisors to grant preliminary final land development for docket number 2383, pendant on the comments of staff and engineers.
You heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second's been made. Any discussion on the motion?
Oh, we didn't do the waiver.
I thought the waiver was pulled.
Oh, the waiver's pulled.
It was
Sorry.
pulled.
Sorry.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's passed.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you all. Have a great
Good luck.
day.
Okay, moving on to other business, streaming meeting guidelines. Allow recordings of planning commission meetings to remain on the township's YouTube channel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you may recall, several years ago, following the pandemic, the Board of Supervisors passed a resolution allowing the streaming of meetings on YouTube and certain guidelines surrounding that. So the Board of Supervisors has followed that, and shortly thereafter, they had requested that the other boards and commissions of the township also follow suit and do the same thing. Each board and commission does pass their own rules that how they follow meetings or how they run meetings. And the board has recently amended their rules so that the meetings are no longer removed and they will just remain on YouTube, which is how many of the surrounding municipalities do their retention of their meetings. So the board just simply asked that the other boards and commissions also allow the videos to remain.
Do they have a resolution for their number for their recent change?
I'm not so certain that they have.
I'm in support of it.
I make a motion, we adopt this policy or guideline going forward.
Second it.
Okay, so now we can have discussion.
Yes.
Yes.
So I would recommend we not adopt this policy because this policy says that they're only up for one meeting. We need to reference that if we're going to adopt this policy, we need to change item 4.
Yeah. The policy has been changed, whether or not it's in front of you tonight. The board did change their policy.
So we'll make the motion that up to the most current update of the guidelines. Any other discussion on the motion?
So up to this point, have we still gotten rid of what is out there, or have we been holding?
Typically, yes, the meetings are removed after the next meeting essentially occurs. Yes. So now they would just stay up.
So don't know that we should just say we're going to automatically follow the board's policy. I think we should specifically, I would recommend we tie it to this policy with this change in case the board makes something next month that we don't necessarily agree with.
We'll adopt my motion to that.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
I don't have a problem with that. Do you?
I don't, but to your point, is it going to be the latest rev of resolution 2021-49, or you saying you didn't have the?
Well, what I would suggest is that the resolution be amended to say that we want to follow the guidelines of resolution 2021-49 with the exception of subpart 4, where our meetings would remain indefinitely. If I would have made the motion, that's what I would have recommended.
Gotcha.
And that way, I feel that we're
We
doing
have
open
control.
meetings, which is good, but we're not necessarily blindly following another board's direction at will.
Yeah, understood. Okay, and Chuck said he's
Yep.
in agreement with amending it to what you just
Absolutely.
said.
And they did pass a new resolution 2024-40 in September. It's on the screen.
So you could actually just say you want to follow whatever that number
That's
was.
what I said initially, follow the new adopted guidelines.
Well, no, but you should reference the number.
124.40.
Yes, that too, 2024-40.
Thank you for finding that.
Yep.
Is there any other discussion on it? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion has been passed. Is there any other business that needs to come before us this evening?
Question. When are we getting the proposed saldo changes?
Next month.
Yeah, anticipate in December. Nope, we're on
Business.
we're
In this month, but we just.
We know we had originally December.
also next month you expect to see consultants have been working the sidewalk deferred over the past years and how they compare to the Vision Zero action plan. And you'll be presented next month with multiple exhibits on those sidewalk deferrals we're recommending to call at this time, which will be done by the Board of Supervisors, but definitely the Planning Commission should make some type of an official recommendation on those
good.
as well.
I appreciate
And there's about five
Just 5. Yeah.
locations that match perfectly.
And is that how we believe it's going to go then, just as a method of policy, not policy, but a method of operation?
To call it
You'll come
deferral.
to us
Mhm.
as you see fit, and then we'll make a recommendation, and the supervisors will make final decision.
Yes.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Is there an overall visual that shows deferral versus waiver versus? the plan?
Yes, Keystone has prepared that, and we'll have that at at the meeting. We're, as I said, next month, we're planning on having that on the agenda.
Okay, is there anything else before us this evening? You look like you were thinking. Tim? Ray?
I'll recommend a motion to adjourn.
Okay, there's been a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Good night.